I'm about to put every Bible study tool to the test to find out which ones are worth the money and which ones are after the money. In this video, you will see the top 5 Bible study tools ranging from completely free all the way up to $15,000. I'll be rating each of these tools on 4 categories: price, usability, resources, and features. First up is BibleHub.com. BibleHub is free, but it has ads, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 when it comes to price. However, the same can't be said about its usability. BibleHub can be used online completely, or you can download the mobile version on your phone, which is nice, but with outdated visuals and so many abbreviations that you don't know what any of the tools are, it can be hard to find the tool that you actually want to use. And again, it has ads, which can be slightly annoying when you're trying to write a lesson on self-control and all you can think about is how you really want to buy those protein shakes and go to Anytime Fitness. Lead us not into temptation. Overall, although it may be a little dated visually, it's pretty easy to use, so I'm going to give it a usability score of 5 out of 10. But of course, the most crucial thing in good Bible study is having good resources, and it all starts with the Bible. This is where BibleHub starts to show its strengths. In fact, BibleHub.com is really just a glorified resource search engine, which, don't get me wrong, is very useful. With 40 supported languages and over 120 translations of the Bible, I think that's pretty well covered. And it doesn't stop there. It has over 50 commentaries, a huge selection of sermons and devotionals, and an atlas tool that allows you to find resources on different biblical places. For resources, this gets a very resourceful 7 out of 10. Not bad, but compared with our $15,000 software that we're going to look at later in this video, it kind of starts to look like one of those mini library boxes at a park. And BibleHub's most significant strength is also its greatest weakness. Because on its website, it lists over 24 tools, but most of these tools, as I said earlier, are just glorified search tools. Out of these 24 tools, I found only 4 that I would actually consider to be tools rather than just an online library. For example, this pictures tool is nice for creating verse photos to share online, although the pictures are a little dated. Or this parallel gospel tool is nice for studying one story, like the baptism of Jesus, in each gospel side by side. You could say that BibleHub is a little more Bible than it is Hub. It has all the tools you need as long as the only tool you need is a search tool. That's 3 out of 10, which gives us an overall score of 24 out of 40. Not bad. Things are about to get a lot better with stepbible.org. For starters, there's the name and the mission. STEP is an acronym meaning Scripture Tools for Every Person. And it's not just a name, but it's something they actually follow through with. Immediately when you open it up, you're shown a simple 3-second guided tutorial with a tab open to more guides if you need it. However, you probably don't need it because of how intuitive it is to study with Step Bible already. I'm not sponsored by Step Bible, I just genuinely love the software that they've created. It doesn't try to be anything fancy, it doesn't try to be the best at anything, it just simply works. Let me show you how easy it is to do a word study in Step Bible. Say we want to learn about the word justified in Romans 3. First, we go to our passage by typing it in here. Then we hover over the word and immediately we're given the word in Greek, the tenses of that Greek word, a description of what it means, and references to other places where that word is used. It also highlights all of the other times that that word is used in your passage, which is especially useful in Romans because now we can see that justified is the same root Greek word as righteousness, meaning there is some connection and something important about that word in this passage. So how does Step Bible rank compared to BibleHub? Well, first of all, price is 10 out of 10 because it's completely free and there are no ads. The usability of this software is better than any other Bible software that I've used. It's got a clean UI, a nice guided tour, clear tutorials, and everything is easily and quickly accessible. I think that's a clear 9 out of 10. Unfortunately, where Step Bible soared is where BibleHub really starts to fall. It has minimal resources, and the resources tab that it does have is just a list of a few other tools, which these tools are very useful, but honestly, the UI is so atrocious, I don't think I could bring myself to use them. I've seen better layouts on a MySpace page from 2006. Resources is a 2 out of 10, only saved by the fact that there are some very good resources baked into some of the tools themselves. But if you use Step Bible and you want some commentaries, you're going to have to look somewhere else. The features of Step Bible are kind of interesting to cover. It's like getting a small package of Lindt chocolate versus getting an entire barrel of Hershey's chocolate. Even though the number of tools that you have available are technically smaller than other software, I find that the quality, ease of use, and how many things you can do with each tool in Step Bible to be much better than others. So I'm going to give this a completely delicious 8 out of 10 when it comes to features, giving it a final score of 29 out of 40, which is the highest we've seen so far. But can it compare to eSword? This is the first software we're covering that you actually have to download onto your computer, and this one has a special place in my heart. This was the first ever Bible study tool that I personally used to write one of my first sermons. It's getting older now, but with the free price, it's kind of hard to complain. Unless you want to download it on your phone, because then it costs $4, so you can complain about that. It also allows you to purchase different books and resources to use with the software, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 when it comes to price. Pretty good, and I used it without ever spending any money. Unfortunately, while this software may be nostalgic for me, rebooting it today is like trying Lunchables as an adult. It's just not as good as I remember. eSword is a very lightweight software compared with the modern alternatives, but don't expect it to be bug-free. The Bible glitched within the first few minutes of using it, and I couldn't see half of the viewport. This did fix itself after a few minutes and I had no other issues. There are some unique tools in eSword, like a fantastic journaling tool that keeps track of the day you make the journal notes for yourself. You can also use a fully featured text editor to write sermons or to take notes. And like with Step Bible, the original language words are laid out very nicely, but if you want to do a little deeper study on those words, it's going to require a little bit more work. It's also highly customizable, and you can save your layouts to different button presets and quickly switch between them. There's a graphics viewer that gives you some very strange but also quite fun artifacting. Honestly, this could be a pretty nice relief when you're struggling with a complex topic and just need to relax. So how does the electronic sword compare with its competitors? When it comes to usability, it's interesting. While it looks like a software that you would find someone's grandpa using, it also feels like a software that someone's grandpa could use. In fact, it's so straightforward that your grandpa could use it to look up a verse about respecting your elders right before he asks you for help to fix his printer. And he'd probably appreciate it that it looks like the software he used back in '98. It's a very intuitive software, and with a minor graphical update, I don't think you would even realize that it was so old. 8 out of 10 usability. Resources is another high point. There's an extensive free resource library. You can download many commentaries, maps, Bible versions, translations, devotions, dictionaries, and more. There are also some paid resources available on an online eSword resource website where you can find something specific if you're looking for it. Overall, 6 out of 10. There are some good resources, but many of them are old at this point. When it comes to features, there's not really a lot, but that may be a feature in and of itself. You can look at original language words, you can read commentaries, and you can write notes. Honestly, what more do you need? Hopefully nothing, because that's all you get. 4 out of 10 for features, leaving us with a very authentic and antique score of 26 out of 40. This is a concordance, and this is accordance. But don't be fooled by the name, because there is no agreement between the tools in accordance. Accordance currently offers a 90-day free trial, and after that a purchase price of $50, although you can spend hundreds or even thousands more on resources. This is our first really professional software that we've looked at, so let's get into it. When you first open Accordance, you might think you need a computer science degree just to use the software. And in some cases you might be right. I tried to look up the book of Numbers and I accidentally calculated pi. But compared to our $15,000 software later in this video, let's just say there's a lot to come. Visually, Accordance has a light and a dark mode. I've always been a dark mode person, but I find the visuals here a bit hard to look at. Dark icons on a dark background may not be the right move, and in this case, I may prefer light mode. Now you can do so much in a software like this that I would need over 8 hours just to explain all of the different things that you can do. Accordance is primarily built on top of modules, which are essentially different tools. One of the draws to a software like Accordance is that you can make it your own. You can really do whatever you want with it so you feel more comfortable using it. On another positive note, Accordance is pretty lightweight software, and it runs like Notepad compared to the last software that we'll use that demands more RAM than a 1500. The highlights of Accordance are its ability to make detailed searches, the speed of the software, and this neat timeline maker which allows you to create custom biblical timelines with specific events that you want it to show. It even has a built-in browser. Accordance is highly praised by authors and scholars alike, so how does it rank on our 4 categories? Terrible. Quite awfully, actually. I wasn't sure if I was being biased against this software for some reason, so I asked my wife how she would rate its usability, and she gave it a 1 out of 10, which for the record is still better than she rates my ability to load the dishwasher. I shouldn't be so critical of Accordance because any software that has this amount of tools or abilities is going to look a little rough around the edges. But in my opinion, it doesn't have to be this ugly or confusing. And the irony is definitely not lost on me that one of the first things you see on their website is that they are known for their ease of use. That either speaks to the Bible software market as a whole right now, or to something else that I can't think of right now. They also claim that Accordance is the most comprehensive Bible software on the market. I'll let you guys be the judge of that after our final software. Overall, 3 out of 10 on usability. It makes me never want to use it again. My take on its resources might also be a little controversial. While you can access hundreds, possibly even thousands of resources on Accordance, it's going to cost you hundreds and possibly even thousands of dollars to do so. The base cost of Accordance is $50 and it starts with 60 good resources. I'll give them a 6 out of 10. They have many good resources, but it's going to cost you many good dollars. But the same is not true when it comes to features. The price per feature on Accordance is absolutely better than any other software out there. With detailed searches, analytics, charts, great maps, a timeline editor, a text editor to write sermons with, Greek tools, Hebrew tools, cross-reference tools, parallel Bible tools, word study tools, and much more. This is the Android of Bible software. It can do anything, it just doesn't look good while it's doing it. That's an 8 out of 10 for features. And finally, a 5 out of 10 for price. Overall, Accordance gets a final score of 22 out of 40. Now that may be the lowest score on our list, but I still think this is a great software. In fact, I think this is the best software for someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money, but still wants a fully featured Bible study experience. Now, for those who accept nothing but the best, there's only one option for you: Logos. However, before we look at this $15,000 software, I want to let you know that this video took many hours of research to put together, and so if you enjoyed it, please consider supporting me by subscribing or liking the video. Okay, finally we come to the behemoth Bible software that is Logos. It has hundreds of resources and features, all requiring a NASA-sized computer to run and a NASA-sized budget to match. So is this the Bible software of all Bible softwares? Let's find out. Well, Logos is the software that I personally use as a full-time minister every single day. Still, it causes me more headaches than an incense diffuser, and it gives my computer a bigger workout than Samson gave that jawbone. So is it a practical tool to use as a minister? Here's why the answer is yes, absolutely, and not at all. We have to start with the price, because the price is what makes Logos so inaccessible for most people. Logos recently went from a one-time purchase price to a subscription-based model. The subscription-based model makes it easier for people to get started using it, but in the long run, they're probably going to be spending more on the software. The subscriptions start at $10 a month and go up to $20 a month, depending on the features you want to be available to you. However, like Accordance, more resources and features can be made available to you through additional purchases, and they are not cheap. The master collection of over 1,500 resources is gonna set you back over $15,000 $15,000. Thankfully, I was given a deal through my school to purchase logos, and I got over 1,000 resources for only a little over $1,000. And while that price is still an extreme amount to pay for a software, if you think about all the books that you get, buying those books individually would cost 10 times more, so I can't call this a scam. I'm giving the price for logos a 3 out of 10. It's extremely expensive, but the quality is good. Logos resources are incredible. Even the cheapest Logos package gives you over 250 books to use. And these are very high quality books. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 for resources. Now for the exciting part. After you've spent all this money and have all these resources, what can you actually use Logos for? Well, a better question is what can't you use Logos for? In order to save time, I'm gonna try and say all the features of Logos as fast as I can.
Case study guide, passage guide, exegetical guide, Bible word study, topic guide, counseling guide, thematic study guide, custom guide, search and exploration, Bible search, basic search, book search, clause search, morph search, syntax search, fact book, explorer, concordance, question and answer, Bible browser, notes, highlighting, sermon builder, sermon manager, canvas, flipping, visual filters, interlinear, lexicon, information tool, textual criticism, prepositional outlines, ancient literature, word list, parsing, grammars, sentence diagramming, word tree, atlas, timeline, media browser, interactive, miracles of the Bible, biblical events, Psalms Explorer, Proverbs Explorer, library, layouts, favorites, history, collections, shortcuts, reading plans, prayer lists, workflows, course tool, cross references, parallel passages, biblical word sentences, biblical people, biblical places, biblical themes, biblical events, weights and measurements, inline search, factbook answers, AI search, AI summary, sermon assistant, AI authoring tools, Tractionary, text scanner, reading view.
Okay, so that's a lot, but here are the features that I use most of the time and make it so that Logos honestly is a software that I could probably never stop using as long as I am a full-time minister. Number one has to be the sermon manager. I used to be so stressed out about losing my sermons, forgetting where I saved my sermons, having a hard drive break, forgetting where I taught my sermons, forgetting when I taught my sermons. All of these different issues are completely saved by the Logos Sermon Manager. It tracks all of your sermons, when you preached them, where you preached them, how long they were, and what topics they covered. It also allows you to easily search through your lessons, allowing you to see what you preach about the most and what you haven't preached about in a while. Now that I've used this, I honestly can't go without it. And along with the Sermon Manager, Logos has a great sermon builder. It's so nice to be able to cite verses in your notes just by typing the reference and even quotes from commentaries, along with having AI tools which can help you outline a text into a sermon format, or even a built-in PowerPoint maker which automatically creates slides with your verses, and it's surprisingly usable. The attention to detail with just one tool in Logos is what makes it absolutely worth the money. Another great feature is Factbook. While in other software you may have to do 10 or 15 different searches to find all the information you want about a topic, in Logos just open the Factbook, search a topic, or really whatever you want, and it presents you with all of the information you could wish to see about that subject, all in a nicely organized and readable way. You can also search with specific aspects in mind, such as counseling or theology. The original language tools in Logos are also completely unmatched. Simply hovering over a word in Logos gives you most of the information you could need about it, and double-clicking on it brings up the definition in the lexicon. And there are plenty of tools for viewing Greek and English or Hebrew and English text in your Bible side by side. Another highlight is the word study. Simply right-click on a word you are interested in studying in and select word study. This is not a sponsored video, and I find so many things annoying about Logos, but honestly, every feature and tool is so thought out and well planned that it makes deep Bible study so much faster and easier than any other software. In fact, the tools are so well done in Logos that you may find yourself going down rabbit holes of designing diagrams, finding chiasms in the Psalms for hours, or looking at charts. The features in Logos have to be 10 out of 10. And while Logos has a very steep learning curve, I never find myself feeling overwhelmed like I do when I use Accordance. All of the features are there and easily accessible, but none of them are shoved in your face and you never feel like you have to use them. So I give Logos an 8 out of 10 for usability, which gives it a final score of 28 out of 40, placing it just under Step Bible in total score. And I think that makes sense. Overall, Step Bible is probably the best tool and most practical tool for most people who want to study the Bible. And in the end, the tool that you use to study the Bible is less important than the fact that you are studying the Bible. Anything that you can do in a $15,000 tool like Logos you can also do with physical tools like books and a paper and a pen. Please let me know in the comments below if you like this video style and if you want to see me do a video on my favorite physical Bible study tools. Until next time, after a while, alligator.